Heavy traffic and high summer heat create a punishing environment for automotive components on busy corridors like I-35. Here, your engine and cooling systems are operating right at the edge of their design limits. When your vehicle begins to stutter, there is an immediate, powerful urge to keep going. Most drivers will try to limp the car to the next exit, or even all the way home, just to avoid the cost and delay of a tow. But that instinct is often a trap. Trying to save $100 on a service call can lead to catastrophic damage that costs more than the car is actually worth. Responding safely requires a clear understanding of the internal failure. You need to connect the specific symptom you're seeing to the actual mechanical risk involved. Most roadside emergencies fall into 5 categories: engine cooling, electrical systems, the drivetrain, tire structural failure, and digital security. Misdiagnosing any of these means you aren't just stranded, you're actively damaging the vehicle's core components while you wait for help. A modern engine generates immense friction heat. To stay operational, it relies on a pressurized, continuous flow of liquid coolant moving through the block and the radiator. When a hose ruptures or a water pump fails, the symptoms are immediate: a temperature gauge pinned in the red and a sweet, syrupy smell coming from the hood. If you see steam, you have to pull over and shut the engine down immediately. Driving even 2 more miles to reach a gas station is where the real damage happens. Within minutes, extreme temperatures cause the metal cylinder head to warp and pull away from the engine block, destroying seals. Pouring cold water into a hot engine is worse. The sudden temperature drop causes thermal shock, physically cracking the engine block. There is a common belief that the battery is what keeps your car running once you're on the highway. This diagram shows the actual relationship. The battery's job is to start the car, but once the engine is turning, the alternator takes over. It powers the ignition system and the fuel pump while simultaneously recharging the battery. If the alternator dies, the car runs purely on the battery's reserve power. Dashboard lights dim, the radio cuts out, and power steering feels heavy. As the reserve drains to zero, the engine stalls completely, often while moving in traffic. Accepting a jump start from a stranger in this situation is a mistake. It might get the engine started, but it won't keep it running if the alternator isn't generating power. If the car loses power while you're in the middle of a busy lane, you lose your power brakes and steering. You need a tow to a repair shop, not a temporary boost. Modern transmissions, especially in all-wheel drive vehicles, are highly sensitive mechanical assemblies. They are designed to operate under specific pressures and temperatures. You'll know the transmission is failing if you feel hard clunks during acceleration, or if the engine revs loudly but the car refuses to move forward. When you call for help, the most important detail you can provide is whether your vehicle's drive wheels can safely spin while the engine is off. Using a standard 2-wheel wrecker on an all-wheel drive vehicle forces internal gears to turn without lubrication, shredding the transmission. A flatbed tow truck is the only safe option. Lifting all 4 wheels eliminates internal friction and prevents structural damage. Choosing the right equipment for a drivetrain issue is the difference between a repairable transmission and a total loss. Modern car design has changed the way we handle common roadside problems. Many new vehicles no longer include a spare tire, replacing it with a chemical sealant kit that has very limited uses. A high-speed blowout can bend an aluminum rim or sever a brake line. In those cases, a sealant kit is useless. You are dealing with suspension damage that makes the car unsafe to drive, even if you could inflate the tire. Digital security has also created new risks. Smart keys and proximity fobs are convenient, but if the internal battery dies while you're outside the car, you are effectively locked out of the entire system. Forcing your way in with old-school methods like a coat hanger usually ends in disaster, bending the door frame or destroying the weather stripping. Professional technicians use specialized pneumatic tools to create a safe opening without touching the paint or the seals. Brute forcing a modern vehicle's security or suspension usually leads to a much larger bill at the body shop. The moment a breakdown involves your engine, your drivetrain, or your core electronics, the window for a safe DIY repair is closed. This chart maps breakdown risks, DIY viability versus collateral damage risk. Simple tire leaks or dead batteries sit safely in the low-risk DIY quadrant. However, overheating, AWD, or electronic failures enter the high-risk zone, requiring specialized towing recovery to prevent spreading damage. Every driver should program a trusted local dispatch number into their phone before an emergency happens. It keeps you from making a rushed, high-stakes decision while standing on a dangerous highway shoulder. Recognizing when a vehicle is truly inoperable is the only way to protect your safety and the long-term health of your car. Asking for the right help ensures your vehicle survives the trip to the repair shop.